away, Jerry.
What do you know about Notre Dame, Ish?
We just recently went over their scout. They're a tough physical team. Their point guard is very talented. They have pieces 1 through 5, and we're gonna have to bring our A game to be successful.
You'd have to run Shrewsbury off the 3-point line.
For sure, yep. So we did an extensive scout these past couple of days, and I think we're ready for the task.
Are you fighting to get the assignment of guarding Burton, or do you let the coaches kind of determine who goes in?
Whoever they put me on, I'm ready for the challenge. It's been like that all year, and I just can't wait to accept the challenge and get a win tomorrow.
Ish, when you guys go with your 3-guard rotation at the same time, is there any kind of thought in the back of your mind that's like, hey, we can't foul here, we can't get in trouble because there's not really anyone else that can replace us at these positions, or is it just more freeing knowing that you can do a little bit more with all 3 of you on the floor?
I think it's freeing, honestly, and I think everybody on the court for us has a good feel for the flow of the game and how things are going, and whether we need a certain person in or whether or not to foul, we all have a pretty good feel for the game. So I think it's second nature for us.
You're through a good amount of ACC games now at this level. How does it compare, and what's different about the ACC than playing in the A10?
I just say the difference is guys are taller, faster. You got to find different ways to be good at what you're good at doing. So for me, it was a little adjustment, and I think I'm comfortable now. I think I can get to the things I know I can do well.
Was there a particular moment when you realized that guys were bigger and faster, when you're like, oh, okay, I'm truly in a different league right now?
Yeah, I say the second ACC game, Syracuse, it was just like A10, I could usually do certain things, and I couldn't get away with it during that game, so it was definitely an adjustment, and I think I adjusted well to it.
How did you find that adjustment? Because you're a guy, I've seen you, like, there's plenty of times where you drive in, you create baskets or create opportunities for others, and it seems like you've found a way to do that more consistently the past, let's say, month and a half.
I think knowing that getting to the basket, all the way to the basket, isn't always the right option for me, given that players are taller, faster, longer, stuff like that. So just adjusting, working on my touch, working on my floaters, working on my mid-range, just getting the spots is something that I've really tried to put work into.
Ish, you guys have had a number of comebacks this year, and even in the Duke game, they made runs, and you guys were able to hang on. What allows this team to be resilient or to have that ability?
I said this the other day, I just think we're a really connected group, and we know that we're capable of doing certain things, and holding each other to that certain standard is something that we all try and do.
On the flip side of that, you don't want to be down double digits halftime every game. Like, what have you talked about that? What are you guys doing to try to not get in that hole?
Yeah, just being on the attack. As soon as the ball jumps in, just being the aggressor, throwing the first punch is something we like to say. The first 4 minutes is really the most important for us to get off to a good start, and we try and dominate that first 4. So that's what we're going to try and do.
Last year we heard a lot about that group's chemistry, and that seems to be something that's really coming together this year. What does Jeff do that allows for that chemistry to be created organically like that? What perimeters does he kind of set in place that allows you guys to come together as a whole?
I mean, he just puts full trust in us. We work on our games and we trust ourselves, but having a head coach that really instills confidence in you is something that's big for us, and it just helps everybody flourish on the court.
You mentioned the first 4 minutes. What about the last 4 minutes as far as a focus? Is there a talk about like you guys needing to finish stronger than you have to the end of first halves?
For sure. So the first 4 and the last 4 is somewhere that we could definitely improve on, and that's a vocal point going into each and every game, given that we have been trailing at half a lot of games this season in ACC play. So big vocal point for us.
Ish, are you okay coming off the bench? Are you all right with that 6-man rule?
It's new, but I'm trying to win basketball games, so whatever I can do to help my team win is what I'm gonna do. So it's we before me. That's kind of my mindset right now.
Were you a guy who came off the bench consistently ever in high school?
No,
Yeah.
but just winning basketball games is the focus.
When you work with, like, when you guys meet together and you're going over scout taping and going over the tape that you guys have viewed on your next opponents, where do you see Bub and Jalen as freshmen compared to like where you think back to where you were when you were approaching the game your first year?
They're much more talented than me. My freshman year, just their overall feel for the game, they really surprised me when I first saw them, not knowing that they were freshmen, and then their constant growth this year is just it's been an honor to watch.
for old guys like us, we look and see that Bub played 40 minutes, you guys played 35 minutes, 38, we're like, oh man, that's so much, they must be tired. What is recovery like? So you guys play Wednesday night, you play again tomorrow. Is it hard to get your legs back if you play 35, 38, 40 minutes?
Yeah, so DA and Vince, they do a great job of making sure we get our recovery in right after the game. So we get an ice bath right after the game, and just constant treatment, honestly. So right after we're done, we'll get a little workout in, straight to treatment, and they're definitely on top of us with that. So recovery's kind of second nature for us because they just always on us about it.
Do you see differences in the recovery process at this level compared to when you're playing in the Atlantic 10 and lower level? Is there more focus on, the medicine and the treatment and stuff like that at this higher level or at Pitt?
I mean, funny enough, DA and Vince were with me at Rhode Island in the A10, so I'm kind of familiar with them, and they run a tight-knit ship, so I'm just used to it, always being in the training room.
If you're coming off a game with 22 points, what's the stat you appreciate most?
The win. Adding wins is something that just makes everybody happy. It's just something that I always try and strive to do, whether it's 22, whether it's 2, just a win is what we need as a program.
Jeff said after the game on Wednesday night, and he said it again today, that at halftime he told you guys, you played hard, but you have to play harder. You played physical, but you have to be more physical. Do you feel like these last few games, you guys are learning some of those, like he says, what's required to win? Do you feel like you guys are starting to internalize some of those lessons?
Yeah, for sure. And if we do internalize those lessons, then like you said, we'll be successful. But just knowing that we have another level that we can really tap into as a whole is something that's exciting for us, because I don't even think we've reached that threshold yet. And when we do, we'll be good, really good.
Ish, you grew up in high school playing basketball in the WCAC. What's it been like playing some of the players you grew up playing against in high school at the collegiate level?
Man, it's awesome just seeing those guys out there. I mean, WCAC is the best basketball in the nation, and just I'm close with a lot of them, so seeing them just thriving, doing their thing at the highest level in college basketball is just something I don't take it for granted.
And she shot more threes the other night than we normally see you shoot. Instead of slashing, is it just what the defense was giving you? Do you gauge that every game, or were you just feeling hot?
I think just trusting my work. I put in a lot of time. I work a lot on my three-point shooting, and when the time presents itself, open shots, you just got to be able to knock them down, and I did that.
The 2009 team has been around this team a lot, but they're going to be around tonight and tomorrow. Is it something that you guys look to? Like, is it motivation to see what those little teams accomplish here?
Yeah, for sure. Just to pick their brain. They were a very successful team, and just to see them, get some knowledge from them is going to be great for us.
There are alumni around the program a lot, like during the summers and things like that. Do you have a connection with any kind of former player in particular?
So Sam Young is somebody who I grew up around a lot, because I used to go to his summer camps and all that. So he's somebody who I knew before I even knew I was going to Pitt. So kind of grew up around him.
Where were his summer camps?
Where were they?
Yeah.
Oh, they were in Maryland.
Yeah.
So yeah, he hosted summer camps in Maryland and DC. So I used to be at those.
Was it smaller? Do you remember you?
I was little, but yeah, he did remember me once I gave him a little brief. And I don't look the same as I did when I was like 8, 9, 10. So,
Really?
Yeah, a little bit different.
More tattoos?
Right, more tattoos, facial hair. So.
You ever try his pump fake?
What'd you say?
You ever try to emulate his pump fake?
Nah, I don't even know how he does it, honestly. If I tried it, I might travel or something. So that's his staple.
What do you remember about this? What did you take away from that opportunity at those camps?
It just made me who I am, kind of. Just being around basketball at such a young age, being around players who are currently doing it it was great for me. It showed me where I wanted to be and where I ultimately am now. So just kind of proud of myself that I made it here.
Thanks, Ish.
Thank you.